the day is President and CEO of the World Council on City Data and is a professor of political science and the director of the Global Cities Institute and Global City Indicators Facility at the University of Toronto, Canada. Professor Patricia McCarney received her PhD from MIT in Urban Planning and International Development and has served as Associate Vice President, International Research and Development at the University of Toronto. Please welcome Professor Patricia McCarney.
Thank you for the introduction, and good morning, everyone. It's a pleasure to be here. I'm just going to figure out how we do this, and then we're off. I'm here to talk to you about data for smart cities. When I was invited to think about how to address you this morning, I thought I would share the work of the World Council on City Data, which we started in 2014 to really start to think about how to build standardized data. And in the end, we built the first ISO standard for city data. It's called ISO 37120. And we did that because at the time, from 2009 to 2014, we were working with cities like Thunder Bay to help to think about what cities were already measuring, what were their priorities for measurement, what kind of data were they collecting, and reporting on to provinces or to national levels, et cetera. So all around the world, we were talking to cities. We worked with 255 cities across 83 countries, many here in Canada, Europe, Africa, Asia, Latin America. And what we were finding is that data was extremely well gathered by cities, but it was not standardized. So there was no, in simple terms, there was no apples to apples data. It was really hard for cities to have a conversation with each other that was comparative, and you could have comparative learning across cities. You could benchmark with your peer cities, et cetera. It was very difficult. So for example, when we started, we noticed things like every city was gathering the same things: waste management, safety, education, all the usual water, sanitation, et cetera, all the usual data. But it was all being gathered with different definitions of what they were measuring and different methodologies. So, for example, Toronto was measuring emergency response time. It was measured from the time of the call, the 911 call. Boston was measuring emergency response time by the time of dispatch. So it shaved off 2 minutes, and Boston looked a whole lot better than Toronto, frankly, because they were measuring it with maybe 5.2 minutes because it was from the time of dispatch of the emergency vehicles. Toronto was from the time of call, so it was about 7 minutes. So Toronto was made to look a little bit bad on the global stage. So we tried to fix that, and we looked at 100 indicators across all of these cities. And we started to build standardized definitions and methodologies. We took it to ISO, the International Organization for Standardization, and we built this standard. It's called ISO 37120, and we are now the first to be implementing this as well, having written it basically, taken it through the ISO process, which was 28 countries voting on it, with many, many comments over 2 years of the process within ISO.